What is in this video? We start with the introduction to the track, next to the June challenge. The next thing is a baseline. I had a near crash during the first round. Next to this is the chapter with my conclusions. In session 2 I had a crash. It does hurt. I did 3 sessions during this ride, and from each of the sessions I put 1 lap in here so that you can analyze yourself if I'm following the challenge, yes or no. Okay guys, beautiful weather. We are back at the track that I have been before. It's pretty close to my house. It's not my default track, but it's also a nice track. It looks really cool. I think the dirt is perfect today. This week was quite some rain, but it's okay. I brought with me the TMA June challenge. So what is on the challenge? I have to drive 50%. AJ, my ego, is not handling that very well. Long motos, 20 to 40. Well, we will see what we can do. Keep the feet on the pegs. Well, okay, let's try that and make some proof of that in this track. Focus on posture. Well, I think that is already one of my things, but I understand it's the combination with feet on the pegs, of course. Keep the head centered. Yeah, that is a little bit harder to... 70% of my riding should be slow, and 30% I can go a little bit faster. I think how you ride this, riding slow, is more that you are comfortable in trying new things. And I think I can manage my own speed, if that's 50%, 60%, 75%, and try new things. So I think I'll manage that. Since I did not ride week 1, I also have to look at week number 2. So working without the rear brake and getting more momentum in the first third of the corner. Now we will see. And the only thing, momentum or braking, that we can use is shifting down. I ride the 2-stroke, so I think that will be a little bit scary, but we will see if we can manage that. I'm already a rider who coasts a lot, so then week number 3, it's about not using the clutch. The only thing is when you ride the 2-stroke out of the corner, yeah, it's always handier to get a little bit of clutch to get it into the right power band. Else it takes ages before you're on the right speed, so to say. Yeah, you can also pick a lower gear, but I find that harder in a corner to go for lower gearing than to just use a little bit of clutch. But I wonder what you think about that, AJ. The baseline for today is my... Yes, new business here. Risky throttles. Oh là là.
Options for the TMA June Challenge. You change the name into Summer Training, Week 1, Week 2 and Week 3. I've read Week 4 now as well, and I think I also completed Week 4. That's for you to decide. I created analysis video with my action camera on the helmet. First, during the warm-up laps, just forward so we have a rider's view and we have a reference for some speed. Then, in the next sessions, I twisted the camera down, and now we can analyze what I do with my hands and the feet. The next time that I'm going to do a similar analysis, I have to remember to take a slightly bigger field of view, because I have now such a narrow view I could hardly determine where was the start of the track. And next, it provides a little bit of what's going on next to the rider. Who am I passing? Who's passing me? Riding at 50% effort. Forget it, my eco doesn't allow it. Then, what is 50% effort? Does it mean my round becomes twice as slow? Is that 50% effort? I don't think so, but what I can see, I took the baseline 145 as 100%, and then in the training sessions I went a little bit slower. The first training session, I think I even went quite fast, so it's 103% compared to the baseline. But in session 2 and 3, I really drove a little bit slower. Yeah, that's 107 or 106, something like that. And a person who is used to look at me ride, he said, "Oh, you're holding back." So it's noticeable slower than normal. Riding 20 to 40 minute motos. With the applied effort that we talked about in the previous slides, I could do 20 minutes max. In this table that you see below, I wrote down the total effective time. So for the baseline, it took 14 minutes. For the first session that I did 14 minutes and a little bit. In session 2, I did 20 minutes, but I also had a crash in there. That's not included in this time, by the way. And in session 3, I did, again, 20 minutes. I did not have a watch or anything. This is just the time that it turned out to be when I'm timing the video. What you can also see, it looks there is a relation between the effort that I put in and the total time that I did. Because in the first session, I did not reduce my speed so much. It's 103%. But in session 2 and 3, I did reduce it further. And there I did do the 20 minutes. And again, I did not put it on a watch or something. I just did my riding until I said, okay, now I'm dead, I have to stop. Keeping the feet on the pegs. I did analysis of all the videos. And in session 1, tchaka, the feet are always on the peg. In session 2, one dab, one corner. It was a corner going up. Session 3, one time my whole leg went out. Not a very long distance, but it was in a short corner. I was taking over a somewhat slower rider than me. Also, if I think about my baseline, the warming up rounds, I think most of the time I also had my feet on. And that was already a little bit pre-programmed in my head. And what in my head was the TMA class that was before in Moto 101. Yeah, so I started doing that also in the warming up already. So it's more like I have to train myself in doing that. What you cannot see in the videos is when you sit down. In the video you cannot see my feet. But I noticed immediately when I was driving and trying to keep my feet on, yeah, at many times when I sit down, my feet goes up. That's just what is currently programmed in my brain. And because I was focusing on this, I could resist for sticking it out. So it's possible. The other thing is if you keep both feet on the pegs, I feel that it promotes standing. Now, in itself, that's good. The only thing is that I said to my friend who was at the track, I had the feeling that I have fewer rest moments. So I got tired earlier. So I think in the past, when I drove there, I could do 25 or even 30-minute motors. Yeah? Now I could not do that. As you can see in the video yourself, in the baseline, this track has mostly bold turns, and a few you can make shorter for passing a person, etc. And to be honest, I do not often do that. But considering taking the short turn and with 2 feet on the peg, that becomes even smaller for me. Most likely if I redo this exercise, but then on a harder track with flat turns, I'm not so sure if I'm confident in that I can do it. I do notice when you do it more and more and more and more, you get more confident in doing it. So that is of course good. However, making a short turn or making a corner short, yeah, that is just for myself easier if I just stick out my leg and then I'm pointing into the direction where I want to go or something. How do you feel about that, AJ? Let me know. Focus on posture and develop upper body stability. Keep the head centered on the bike. I think both of these are very hard to show or analyze in my videos. I think you need maybe a video from the side. I did not make that. I do feel when you ride with 2 feet on the pegs, you have a tendency for just sitting more straight. So I do feel that it promotes that. Then for the keeping the head centered, it's also a little bit hard to sort of analyze. However, if I do a speed view, and then I can do that of course with my video editor, I quite often see my feet just on both sides of the tank. So it means that also in corners I keep my head above the tank. So that is good, I would say. Then the following items. Use no rear brake, more momentum in first third of the corner. Use downshift to act as stopping power. Now, I think in training session 1 I did not focus so much on the rear brake. I was already happy that I was keeping my feet on, and I did not need the clutch, I would say. In session 2 and 3 I start feeling more comfortable not using the rear brake. I think you cannot really see that in the video, but for myself I think it was finally in session 3 that I was sort of free of I need to brake at some points. I could really just keep on coasting. What I did do, and I think I could not imagine that somebody would completely remove my rear brake, because up to the end I kept my foot on top of that brake. Because if I would just go out of balance or whatever, something would happen, then my feet is on top of that brake. It gives a feeling of being safe. I do notice that, yeah, if you are not using the rear brake, I do use my front brake, but I notice I'm not using it more than what I would normally use with the rear brake. I even think I would do less of the front brake in that case. So it means I start coasting more. I could not really say that I feel that I increased my momentum in that corner. I'm not sure if that's because of the coasting or what the idea was in this, but or it could be that I'm still just chicken, because I had it said to me many times by other people, just give more gas and you can go through the corner, you can do this. When just not trying to brake, it does increase the confidence that you get from engine braking. Although I have a 2-stroke, it's not so much as in the 4-stroke, but it does already give a lot of braking. Using no clutch, only feather. Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't feel like extra effort to not use the clutch. At least this time. And this time, I have to say, I had a new piston, yeah, in a 2-stroke 250. That means it's pretty aggressive. And the dirt conditions were super. So, yeah, the only thing what you had to do is do that and it would go. I'm not saying that will always be the case. Nearing another rider, I noticed, so I could analyze that for my videos. I think it was even at 2 spots. I put 2 fingers on the clutch. That is just, I think, a safety thing again, so you do not know what's going on. And I feathered it, but I could not see it in the video because, yeah, it goes in and out of the frame, so to say. And but when listening to the sound, I could hear that I must have feathered it because I was going out of a corner, and I could see that I make it shorter, and I was for surely passing a person because it was like, and I was gone. So, yeah, so you can hear that a little bit in the sound. I made some extra observations from the videos. One thing that I noticed, I'm still doing the duck-footed thing, and it is more with my shifter. You can see that in this movie, and it depends a little bit on the spot in the video, but this was yeah, a few times in the video that I saw, I was like, oh no, I'm still that guy. It means I'm not riding on the balls of my feet enough. Yeah, that's the only conclusion that I can make. I do see that the right foot is doing it a little bit better than the left foot. So what I see is that for the braking, my foot really goes forward, and most of the time when I come out of the corner and I look at where my foot is, it is backwards again. So, but not still good. The positive thing is that, yeah, most of the time I'm standing, and in most of the video shows I see my number plate, so it means my head is forward, luckily. Whoop, whoop. An extra observation that I would like to give also for you guys who are watching, always be careful in your first round, especially with a new piston in my case. Yeah, you have to get used to that a little bit. The motor is more aggressive. Also, the track is a little bit different from the last time that you can remember. And yeah, I had the front right high and a near crash there, so do not be that person. And I can also only say, do not get launched by a speeding bump, what I did, because yeah, I went over the steering bar and yeah, my ribs, they hurt. Yet another observation. It's formulated in a question. Maybe this is a podcast question. Doesn't really matter for me. And the question is, do I squeeze the knees enough? When I was analyzing the videos, I noticed that on several spots, yeah, there's just space between my leg and the frame, like you see in the photo here. You also mentioned something during the class in UK to me. You said during the jump, your knees go forward. Well, I looked at the jumps here. I have 2 screenshots here. Yes, that happens. I did not know otherwise to do. This is my natural thing. Also, I noticed a few times, and I also saw that in the videos, that there was the 2 rollers in here, so it's not really a big roller or something. But then on the second one, several times I got off balance. And here's the one that it was extreme, where I was completely thrown forward. Yeah, that can only happen, I guess, that if I'm not squeezing.
Juli.